Hello and welcome to this skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And your co-host is who?
Hessa Virtue.
I'm Jonathan Byer, and in honor of Canada, I pulled out the polar bear vase.
Yes. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Ted Barton.
Well, this is the skating lesson. We're going to be discussing all things that happened, well, this weekend and maybe 6 weeks ago at the 2021 Skate Canada Virtual Challenge competition, Skate Canada Challenge.
Our fake Canadian nationals. This felt like Canadian nationals.
It was really Canadian sectionals, which has sort of become Canadian nationals by default as it was canceled. So if you're new here, please subscribe below and smash that like button. So this was Canadian quasi-sectionals. They typically do an event, and what's interesting is that not as many of these skaters were actually signed up for this competition until maybe a month and change before, because several skaters had buys or would have usually had buys. And Skate Canada said, well, we didn't have competitions in the fall, so you need to show up. So it wound up having great participation, and with the fact that their nationals were canceled due to COVID, it now looks like this was almost a national event. So for those who competed and competed well, I think it's a great event for them. Confidence booster, reputation-wise, you have to look Roman Sadovsky looking pretty good coming out of this competition.
One of my favorites. And you know what I think every time he skates? You know when they... was that Magic Memories on Ice when they had Brian Boitano skating outside on the glacier or whatever, and he's just like
in the TV
skating outside,
where they also have a music video of Brian and Katerina getting like hot for each other.
Ah, yes, that question mark. Well, something about Roman skating gives me that feeling of just like someone skating privately, feeling the wind blowing through their hair outside, having a moment. Like, I just love the feeling he evokes when he skates.
I love how much space he takes up, Jonathan. And I don't know how tall Roman is, but he seems gigantic when he skates in a good way. He seems, and Canadians, are they going to tell us in centimeters how tall he is? I have no clue, but he is very tall and just expanded.
And the quad sao, so beautiful, his quad sao has always been so soft, I felt.
So the first thing that I noticed in his video when he did the edit of his free skate, and the first thing I noticed was how he was being like Jason Brown with his leg extensions and holding the leg on the landing. And I thought, I wonder if that's just for the video. Oh, it looks so beautiful here. I wonder if we'll ever be able to do it like that in competition. And then a lot of these jumps he actually did, and I thought that it was extremely impressive. And I noticed a big maturity and development in his skating. He still is a little bit of an emotional Canadian boy, and I teased him a little bit.
Which we love.
On my story, I was like, Roman, let you talk in your feelings with skating, and I understand it. You're gonna want to like put it in the big perspective, and that wasn't meant to be like real harsh. It was just
of course. When he has a real personality, it's interesting.
Trust me, if I want to be real harsh, I'll say it. You know me.
I think we know that. Yeah, I think there won't be a question if that's what's happening. Yeah.
Instagram people react, to anything. So.
But I thought, like, even though he did Muse, which we've again heard a million times, and Chasing Cars, which we've also heard often. But he seemed to connect with it in a real way. He wasn't assigning these pieces because someone thought it would make him look sensitive. I think he truly is a sensitive skater, and it's just really beautiful and heartfelt to watch, I think. One of the more sincere skaters that's skating right now at the moment.
Yeah, and Skate Canada gave him a really harsh call in the free, which would have not happened at US Nationals last weekend. But again, yes, it was harsh for him, but he can go and move forward from it. They invalidated, did they? No, they didn't. Maybe I lied. Wait, maybe
also, I would like to take this moment to say I was on the Skate Canada website on my telephone trying to look at the detailed judging sheets, and it's not mobile friendly. They have not done So you're scrolling everywhere. It's a nightmare on the telephone to figure it out.
Very harsh on his Euler is what it was. But there was some confusion on his second quad cell, whether or not it went arms down, because they can count that as like the jump not being completely valid. But actually it looks okay. That was a rumor. He got a V on the spin, but you know what? But again, they didn't lie to him about this protocol, which I respect, because he's someone who could be going to the World Championships if it's beheld. And now the rumor is the ISU is trying to push ahead with the Worlds. And I don't know if there will be an audience. I know we're supposed to find out at the end of the month what the plan is. But the scuttlebutt is that the ISU at the moment wants to move through. There was a meeting in Canada and they were discussing who to send based on that, and they're kind of between Roman and Keegan, and I like them both. And yes, we saw Keegan at Skate America, but I feel like
who did okay,
but they they didn't pick Roman last year, right? And they were going to go with Nam, but then to look at this and look at how Roman has improved and delivered the performances here, I really feel like he's at a point where his GOE, if he does well, is going to be better than Keegan. I think he's showing, and I don't know that Keegan is necessarily going to do better. And again, it's kind of like the Amber Glenn situation. You ask these skaters to improve and make improvements. And I think it would send the wrong message to someone like Roman, who has worked hard, improved areas of his skating, participated in your challenge event. I know that Keegan's in Alaska, and I don't know how that would work because they send official videographers. So maybe he wanted to and couldn't, or maybe he chose to take the bike. Who knows what the real reason is there? But I think it would be a mistake to not take Roman. Well, he's someone that needs experience. He, I think, is certainly part of Skate Canada's future. And I think to kind of not send him would be a bad thing. He's also someone.
So why are you defaulting to sending Nam instead of Keegan and Roman? I would send Keegan and Roman.
They only get one.
Well, they only get one. I didn't realize that.
Last year, the reason why they weren't going to send Roman was the fact that he had inconsistency in the short program, and they weren't confident that he could make it out of the short program, even though he was so spectacular in the free skate. This season, look, he did a beautiful short program here.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that they asked about him to do. I think I would have to go for that vote, because otherwise, what are you basing it off of? And if you put Keegan's performance, and I like Keegan, if you put him up against Roman's here, I think that Roman's performance here was stronger. And that's kind of what we're going on, unless they're going to have like a virtual skate off between the top three men, which I could see being justified, and then maybe have more of a discussion, maybe keep those three going. But I think
but it's something we were talking about at US Nationals also, about who the international judges like to go with, and they do like to go with Roman when he delivers. When he has done one quality program at a competition, they always like to reward it when possible.
He's really on an upward spiral. Look at the body language, the first quad that he landed. If he can manage to land the second one, I'm not sure he should put it in the second half of the program. I don't know if he's there yet. I've heard that he is the most talented skater in practice. He can go out there cold and land a quad. So I don't know, I like him a lot. I do think he needs to keep getting more and more focused and more serious. I think he could be really, really strong. I don't think he's tapped into his potential just yet. So I think for the next 4 years, he's someone that's excited for Canada. I just said that someone left a comment on our other video that they felt like Canada was in trouble for the team event. This event actually gave me hope for Canada. For the first time, I was thinking, okay, a team event at the Olympics, you could have Roman, you could have Madeline, who we'll talk about, who I think came down from above to help Skate Canada. You have Piper and Paul. And you have KMT. I think that sounds like at least a bronze medal, if not a silver, right? They can be very consistent across disciplines. I actually think it makes the team event rather exciting and closer than we've seen before. So
I
don't know. I think I don't think Canada's so out of it. I think a medal, definitely. Now, after seeing this competition, I felt way more confident about it.
Well, and the depth of men here was, I mean, I feel like it's a cliche to talk about sort of the difficulty they experience in the ladies field, but they really do have 3 solid disciplines going in, and perhaps a hopeful option in the 4th.
Yeah, you know, we didn't see Keegan here, but obviously I think he would have been in the top 3 had he competed. And Nam, you know, he reminds me of a Diet Coke version of Nathan Chen in a sense of being, he's going for quads. He doesn't have as many quads as Nathan, obviously, but like he does the whole relaxed, I'm gonna wear sweats kind of vibe to this, that laid back approach, not as laid back as Nathan, but, and they've been compared their entire careers. They came up around the same time. I don't know if people remember when they were like 10 years old and people were 11 and people were comparing them on the internet years and years ago, but they, you know, he's solid. I don't love his programs, either one. I don't think he has the artistic appeal of Roman. He is steady, which is impressive, but he had some big pops.
Well, and if you're going to be the athlete, which was always his deal, then you have to deliver that. I do think he has improved in his own way, his presentation. It's better than it was, but again, I don't know if there was a false sense of hope when he was, I think, 5th at that one World Championships. That
it was really,
it was something eye-opening to be like, oh, but you know, I think that he's done what he can, but you've got to deliver all that technical content to be in that mix. To me, he is the 3rd of the Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, he's steady, and he's certainly in it, but he's not my favorite. And some of it is the skating skills and the posture and the spins, which he has tried over the last year and a half to improve. And I think you can see an effort there, but I don't think it's where it needs to be. There's also just a lack of awareness of presentation, even though he's wearing, you know, the outfit, which many skaters didn't have their costumes ready. Like the laces are really long, like the actual sweats he's wearing are not what Frank Carroll would dress a man in. And it still gives
even
off
on a practice session.
Yeah, it gives off a lack of
flippancy.
Yeah, it's hard to. I know people are like, "You're so old-fashioned. Why are you so curmudgeon-y?" It's just the way the sport looks. If I didn't have a costume, look, get out the Uniqlo turtleneck and the black pants and just look.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So sweats, maybe not the.
Yeah, that were detracting it on certain landings and stuff like that. So yeah.
But boys will be boys, you know.
Well, and Ted like just going on and on about his classical music, and I was like, that's not classical music, but okay. You know, whatever.
So I have to say, we saw Corey Cercelli, and I interviewed him recently on See Alive, and it was very interesting because this kid has a lot of personality going on, and you never know how, you know, he was a junior champion last year. You never know how he was going to compete, but I thought that he was consistent here in the sense of he doesn't have the technical arsenal of the other men. He was supposed to put in a quad at nationals, but he, you know, had a placeholder for it here. But he was a kid that was one of those skaters who you were waiting for the triple axel to come. And they figured out an entrance for him that it's an entrance. He told us it's an entrance he preferred, but he's hoping they count it as a transition. He does it from a spread eagle, and they do it to get his arm in front, and it helps him on the jump. So
okay.
It's something that they figured out. So I don't know. He just seems like a steady competitor, whereas a lot of these men who I would say are more advanced, he gave this really Canadian answer when he was talking about skaters, and he said, "Are they not technically advanced?" or something. So I think it was like a polite Canadian shade. So I think we could say that there are more technically advanced skaters, but are just so inconsistent. And I think he's one that kind of move in. The fact that he got third here against people he trains with that are seen doing insane quad combinations on Instagram.
Right.
And it didn't matter.
Well, okay, a couple of quick thoughts. Back in November, you posted, I think it was 1967, Peggy Fleming at the Worlds.
Did I? I probably
And
did.
she
Okay.
missed it. And this is something you never see because I don't go back and necessarily watch every performance. We just see the iconic ones. When she missed her double axel, the first one.
Jonathan, what's your old skating that you watch? Like when you're home on your vibrating bed, you know, you take your melatonin.
Take a CBD gummy and just turn on, let's see.
I used to do like Michelle Kwan and all of that stuff, but as I've gotten a little bit older, I go a different route.
You go older now. Because yeah, I'm still inclined in that early 90s era. I still will gravitate towards that.
Got to do Robin Cousins, like a documentary in 1980, Brian Bakar, Ty and Randy.
Taller, the old Taller, Cranston,
Taller,
Tickner, like,
yeah. I love Peggy and the Peggy Fleming knockoff known as Julie Lynn Holmes, and that was like the shade on her. 472, Janet Lynn.
Of course.
And Julie Lynn Holmes had an older sister, but I've never been able to find videos of Sandra. But yes, there's just these icons of yesteryear.
Oh, you know, my favorite old school one is Belita.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like Sonia, who, forget it, look up Belita. Like these movies she did, it is like unbelievable ballet. Like it's just sensational what she does.
Jojo and Ken, I mean, come on, Sarah Kawahara.
Ken, who was pewter at the Olympics in men's and pairs. And I think his parents said something horrible, like, see, you should have just picked one or something, saying, you know, crazy. These are
kidding, Jonathan, and that's probably how he received the information and not how they intended it, right?
We don't know. We don't know. Can't ask them, I guess, the parents.
I told a skater recently who is like skinny, right? Wearing a pale pink shirt. So I'm thinking, okay, you're male, wearing pale pink. And like, you've always been like a string bean and it looks like you worked out and put on some muscle. And I said, oh, you look muscular. They took that to mean fat. You know, you don't know how someone's going to receive.
You can't win. You can't win. Yeah.
I thought I was like giving you like license to wear a pale pink shirt.
And giving a compliment. The intention was that of a compliment. Yeah. I would love to be referred to as muscular. I would know that person was lying. But in any case, in this 1967 World Championships with Peggy, she misses the first double axel, which is, I'm not used to seeing her mess up. And it was the second double axel she nailed because she starts with the spread eagle entrance.
You know, she does the.
So it turns out Corey is Peggy Fleming.
Oh my God, can Corey do a spread eagle, triple axel spread eagle? An ode to Peggy. You know, they wouldn't appreciate that in Canada. I think PJ would reluctantly say, oh, reminiscent of skater of yesteryear, right? Like, Hanyu, trained by the great Brian Orser.
That's right. That's right. Somehow bring up Barbara Ann Scott.
Madeline was talented up shades of Caitlin Osmond.
Yeah. Amazing. But he should wear chartreuse.
A wonderful transition into and out of the spread eagle by Corey Cercelli. You know,
that's right. And posture. But Corey does have very good posture. This was a skater that was new to me. Looks like a tall guy, which we know I'm rooting for. You
love a tall giraffe. Very tall. Now, we interviewed him. He's a big Evgenia fan. He enjoys the whole vibe of Evgenia. Not talking to anyone before she does that free skate, getting in the zone, learned a lot from her about getting in the zone, getting that free program done, being a strong diva of the sport, you know, sportmienka. He reenacted Evgenia's entire program for us, the 9/11, you know.
Yeah, the whole situation. Okay.
His dad grew up with Tracy's husband, so they're family friends. Yes.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Could you imagine if you've been to like Tracy's house? Do you think she serves eggnog over the holidays?
Or she could have like a warm cider drink or something like that at the ready. I feel like she has something warm and comforting.
Yes.
Like a hot toddy or something.
Oh.
You know?
Why aren't people having that to cure COVID? I don't know.
Just saying. Let's try it now. Yeah. But what's interesting, actually, as we were talking about Nam, is he was bookended here by Roman and Corey, who both take up so much space when they skate. That's what's so nice about it. Like, Corey also just owns that wingspan, which seems to be of size.
Yes.
So
you love a tall boy. You love it.
I really do. And I like it when they're unapologetic about it. They're using that. Because Roman comes across as very tall, whether they are not, or whether they are or not in real life, I don't know. But they're just taking up all that space. And I love that.
Now, Joseph Fan has the gorgeous free skate. I loved it last year. He could be one of the top 2 boys in Canada. It's just the consistency. What is going on?
It's been a frustrating thing forever.
What is going on? He's so good. I was watching him thinking, these are like skating skills. I don't think he could really necessarily beat Roman in terms of presentation at this point, but he's got all the stuff to be really competitive.
It's classic, it's lovely. And then in the short, for instance, goes out, hits a beautiful quad triple combination, and then kind of
a very interesting turtleneck situation happening. You know, there's it was like a galactic explosion on a turtleneck. And, you know, I enjoy both things.
But do you enjoy them together?
You know, in elementary school, we used to have like a planetarium that they would bring in, and they would put it like on the stage in the all-purpose room, you know, where you have gym and there's salami on the floor because it's also the lunchroom. And the school later got an addition. But climb inside this, like, it looked like an aluminum foil. Did your school ever have one of these? I think the schools would like rent them. It would go from like school to school for a week, and you would always be excited, and you'd learn about like the Big Dipper, you know, and you'd be inside that planetarium.
Wait, here's a tie-in. I went to the Chicago Planetarium because that was very near, and it's a really fun one. And I remember posting something on Instagram, maybe in front of it, and Deanna Stellato, great Canadian pair skater, wrote me immediately, and she said, I think it was either there or at the aquarium, which is right next door, but I think it was the planetarium, and she wrote, oh, I had my wedding reception there.
Oh.
So but maybe it was the aquarium, and then the story is stupid. But I think it was at the planetarium.
We'll have to find out. Yeah, about this, you know.
I think it's worth investigating.
But she hasn't seen her husband in almost a year because they've been stuck in Canada training.
Well, there you go.
I think it's like Tarasova. Her husband was the piano player. He was in Germany. He was between Russia and the US. He said they had a great marriage that way. You know, Deanna's intense like Tarasova. I could see it. I see the similarity.
Yeah. You know? You got to find what works for you. No judgment. Yeah.
No judgment. Deanna, we're working on making you less scary to marriage.
Don't. I love it. I love it.
She can't help it. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been
who you are.
Music on repeat.
It's good.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
I wanted
Speaking of music, Conrad Orzel here, skating to Les Mis in French. Next level. That's next level.
I do not enjoy that costume. Conrad is frustrating for me, Jonathan.
Another one in the short.
Usually people who are that attractive have confidence. Conrad has a great body for skating. As Galina would say, he's got a great face. She always goes inappropriate with that.
And I thought that his costume for the shirt was very effective as well.
When he gets out there and it's like blank. Now this is a boy who can do almost every quad in the book. And what do we need Nancy Kerrigan's mental coach? Like, what do we need to do to solve this problem? Because he is just incredibly talented and underachieving.
Yeah, and he seems to be, middling somehow. And he seems destined for something greater than that. But maybe he doesn't think so.
Are Joseph Conrad, Nick Nadeau, who else would we put in there? They're kind of like the Camden, Polkanen, Andrew Torgashev, Tomoki.
That's exactly right. It's all the ingredients are right there.
Yes. What is the problem?
Nick Nadeau is over 6 foot tall, has a hairy chest, and is left-handed. It's like I'm skating out there. It's like I'm watching myself attempt a quad loop.
Nick Nadeau is so close to being the Brian Joubert of today. And Canada has all of these men. We just need to make it happen.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's a different scenario than the ladies. You know what I mean? The ladies might have some limitations, but these guys have sort of endless potential. They just don't seem to be honing it in somehow.
We need to help them. I don't know what we can do. They have an epidemic. They're too nice.
Well, and they have good camps helping them. Like Joseph, for instance. I mean, you're surrounded by stellar skaters. You've got great coaches. So you're never sure totally where the disconnect is happening.
So Jack Toshinski was watching US Nationals on SIA with us after the challenge. I mean, that's a skating fan. They go from flipping the challenge to SIA, and they have like the crews go back and forth. I mean, I respect that 1,000%. He's
a serious fan.
And we were talking to him about like his huge triple flip jump. He has this like air for days. He works with Jamie Forsythe, which like, you don't know Jamie. He's like someone everyone needs to know. He's just like a mild-mannered Canadian boy about our age. He grew up being good friends with Megan Duhamel. Apparently Megan Duhamel was like helping all the gay boys who either were coming out of the closet or after, just with her like calm positivity. She probably did all the talking. Apparently she was older, they said, in her day, and they'd be like listening to music and probably eating vegan food. And, you know. The
more I learn about her, the more I just continue to like her. Just more and more. It's an all-around human being.
The Canadian gays in Barrie, they feel she's very calming and helping them all out of the closet, which she didn't.
I love that.
She didn't even take credit for it, but she's like, oh, I didn't know this.
I'm just being genuinely awesome, and I guess that was the effect. Yeah.
No. I was like, how was she helping you out of the closet? We asked for details and specifics, which is gay David Peltier, not the Olympic.
Yes, not that David Peltier.
The Paris.
David, and he uses a middle initial. Yeah.
Yes, the one from the US that also trained in Canada was saying that Megan brought him out of the closet. It was a whole discussion we had.
I love that. I love that. Trust you, man.
Fairy godmother, a something whisperer. I don't know. She's. You could send her to certain skaters where we're like, can she help her?
Maybe that's a new skating term, like a friend of Megan's.
A friend of Megan.
Incredible. Now I have to say, so this was, this was one where everyone was skating in their own rink, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating.
Anyway, so what I wanted to say is that Jamie Forsythe works with Jack, and Jamie, he loves math. He takes the JS very seriously, and yet the art of skating very seriously. So you could tell that like Jack has like worked on some of these details. Now he's not Jack's like head coach, but Jack said he needs to work with Jamie more, and I was agreeing. It's like, but then we had Jack. We were like, Jack, why are you wearing gloves? He was like, well, I feel like I pop jumps when I don't wear gloves. And then Corey was saying, Jack, you should practice not jumping with gloves on for like a week or two before the event. And I said, Corey, you should shut up and not be helping your competitors. Like this is
yeah, amazing. His placement up could potentially mean yours going down. Yeah.
You don't know what you might be saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Like this Jack boy has some natural spring, like he could get real high in the air. So yes.
Interesting. I'm intrigued. So what's your ice rink like at the one you're working at with Galina? Do you have natural light? Do you like the atmosphere? I think I would be so influenced by the area around me. So for instance, some of these people were skating at that rink that has like faux glaciers in the background.
We do not have a diorama of faux glaciers, although
with a card table in the middle of it. Yeah.
So I skate on rink 1 in Hackensack because I'm not one of the elite people who's on the rink 2 session. Rink 2 is supposed to be a little bit warmer. It's really cold. Sometimes we're on rink 3, but rink 1, if you've seen it in a million fluff pieces, anytime they've ever done one of those Syracuse or like Sacha Cohen ice moves that they used to do on ABC. Even maybe like a Berejnaya and Secret Leads of Love. It's the one that has the windows up top and the windows in.
See, that's amazing. When I see the natural light in some of these.
No, it's an indoor window situation, but it's like the looking glass, but it looks like the panes of glass that you could see. It looks nice. It's like, and then Montclair, where I work with Igor and Kirsten. Well, I like that one because, you know, red is my favorite color. And there's like a big, thick red strip of like 1 or 2 cinder block lengths that goes around the rink. And somehow it's a power color for me. So I enjoy that.
Okay. Okay.
And I enjoy Menin because it's like one of the walls is painted like light blue and it feels calming. But then I don't like, so Cody Arena in West Orange has a lot of natural light, but that one has, like, it's often dark in there and very like yellow and orange based on like the color of the seats. So it has like a weird glow to it. I don't enjoy that color.
Because like the arena that like Nam was skating in had that beautiful natural light like flooding in, and in those old pieces with Frank and Michelle, they would always show all those beautiful windows looking out. Right. Yeah, I mean, sensational.
Sometimes like the light and the shadow you can't see while you're skating, but that was the most beautiful rink ever at Ice Castle. Hackensack doesn't look like that.
Okay. Well, I think I would be so influenced by the mood.
It's very gray in the lobby. It's dark and it's just like a gray floor, like cement situation.
Okay.
It's not like the cricket club where they have couches and.
Well, okay, so listen to this. Our neighbors growing up, their kids got into hockey, so they just bought the ice arena in our town and then just renovated and put in like basically a Michelin star steakhouse in it. So it was like you were always in like a hotel.
Well, now
I didn't know.
Isabella Tobias's mom, like if the rink was ever, you know, too crowded, they would just like buy the ice in one of the rinks. I mean, why didn't they just take over the whole center? I mean,
make it classy. Yeah. It's possible. It's possible.
Jen K. Like, we have a very nice rink at Hackensack, and how dare you say that it's too gray? And I make very good effort to put up beautiful Christmas decorations, and you really do, Jen K. You try to make it festive, but it's. Although the moms for the skating mothers were very intense for this COVID situation, they tried to make it fun for New Year's, and they brought in like dry ice that they put in mocktails of like different situations. Very it screamed skating money, you know. I just love it. What is dry ice going for these days? I don't know. Like,
yeah, exactly. I feel like that's dangerous. I don't know.
I've never had a mocktail in dry ice before, but it was enjoyable. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Happy New Year, Dave. I have to tell you,
we have to come to Hackensack, Jonathan. It's a vibe. Okay, it is.
Yeah, I would like to experience it in person for all I've seen and heard of it.
Yes, it's you know,
show them a waltz jump they won't soon forget.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. I have to tell you, one of the men was that whole event was a real highlight for me. But I was very impressed with the dance event. And go with me on this one. I loved the Rio program.
Yes. What? It wasn't. It's about birds in Rio in the jungle. Like, what is going on? And this is
well, I was like, I think it might be the cartoon. It's a cartoon about birds in Rio.
Got it.
And so there were bird sounds, there were exoticism, like all this sort of stuff. And they're opening stationary. This is Marjorie and Zach, by the way.
Is it like the angry birds situation going on?
Except they're exotic. They're not angry. They're just at the beach hanging out. And that opening stationary lift, when she's literally flying like a bird and their costumes looks like $8 million. I was like, this could have been a Chalk and Bates moment.
Her dress was like Tessa Virtue Into the Jungle. I was loving it. Okay, it was
yes. And he had those cool like epaulette kind of things. It was sensational. I loved it.
That was brilliant because they're a team who needs to add some razzmatazz and personality. So it was almost like they're forcing them to develop their presentation skills. And I thought that they did a nice job because the one thing that seemed to be missing maybe last year, season before, was that character, that presentation.
And the West Side Story does it for, I mean, I just happen to think this kind of bird concept was so fun and unique and amazing, but also the West Side Story had a really riled up quality to it in a way that made me notice them, where like you're saying before, I often just kind of glazed over. And they really made me sit up and notice.
And they were also doing cats in very literal costumes. That was a Marie France as well, but her name wasn't listed on. Marie France's name was not on that, but her husband's name was on there.
Funny that.
Trying to figure that situation out, but I kind of liked his costume. Hers seemed a little
with
too
the huge black like collar and all that. I mean, that was legit cat costuming. That
just
was
reminded me of when we went to Skate America in 2009. Elkins on his video, there's a video of it. There was a Chinese dance team. This is before the Chinese sent their teams to Marie France. How we've come full circle, because now they have a team that works with Marie France, and she's still giving people cats programs. They did a cat program. Wait. Their costumes were black and orange, and they had like black and like orange paw prints on them, and they scratched at each other as they were like doing some of the mini lifts. It happened. I saw it with my own eyes. Yeah. There's a video of it. Okay. Yes, it was a cringe, and it was also hysterical. Okay.
Cat sound. Okay.
You know, I think that was that team's artistic masterpiece. I don't know that they had more to give than that, but that
it was clearly memorable.
Very memorable. Does anyone remember this? I don't even remember their names. I'd have to look it up, but they clawed. So this is what this reminded me of. I'm sorry.
Okay. There you go.
I haven't seen a Cats program since it was like, you know, them, Paulina Edmonds, and this.
I was just gonna say, Mr. McCavity.
Oh dear, it was quite. I really liked his costume, though. I would like it for Halloween in some respect. I think
the Cat's costume from 2000.
Yeah, why not, right?
Although maybe Zach's costume, maybe Zach's Rio costume, I found it like really lovely. I thought, what a cool. I mean, it is what it is, but I just really found it original and attention grabbing.
It was very glitzy. It was.
Yeah, and definitely set out what it wanted to achieve, which was we noticed them, they performed bigger than I've ever seen them, and we're totally engaged.
Her back is so lovely, and that dress was definitely Matthew Caron. It
looked it, yeah.
The way he shapes the back is so stunning, always. The way it drapes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, yes, I enjoyed that. You know, I want to talk to you about when Ted said there was going to be a Roots program. Jonathan?
I just thought he meant maybe she hadn't gotten to the hair salon. It was just going to be a Roots.
2021 season. No, I didn't know about this Roots Temple movie going on. I'm thinking Roots, like the mini series my mom brought home from the library once that was, you know, teaching us about history. And I was like, I don't know if that's allowed. And then
Dave, do you know how I first heard about Roots? Was because everyone compared it to the Nancy Tanya TV ratings in '94. They were like, since the Roots miniseries, that was one of like the top 5 or whatever that kept appearing along with the Lady Short program from Lillehammer.
I mean, how many hours was Roots? Was it like 27 hours? Was it like watching Junior Ice Dance? I mean, I feel like it was very extensive. Okay.
Yes, but I immediately went and looked up their music.
Because didn't one of the kids then become an adult? And then there was something with like, I forget. I mean, I saw Roots when I was maybe 9, maybe 10.
And I don't think I ever saw it in complete.
I'm thinking like, was it that the kid like was friends with like one of the master's sons, and they become adults, and then he becomes his. Did that happen, or am I like conflating movies? I've seen, I see my Oscar movies, but I don't. I don't know. Someone's gonna have to tell us if I'm like confusing this. I don't know. It's been too long.
And then of course the Roots brand for Canada.
Yes.
Yeah. But I have a Roots sweater, kind of in the same colorway as your lovely cardigan.
But the lyrics to this
music Also a spoken dialogue. So the Canadians, by the way, that's who we're talking about, which is Nikolai Sorensen.
So he's hot and sexy. Why are we covering him up in some like old-fashioned...
I said the same thing to myself. I was like, rip those sleeves off.
The whole thing was like not...
And they also have the spoken dialogue in the Bonnie and Clyde. It also starts with speaking. Maybe they just love audiobooks or something.
Like when your whole thing is that you're eye candy, less feminine, not more. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Listen, Jonathan.
And the book, yeah.
It is our responsibility to dance, to give. Wait, what comes after that? It's hysterical. It's so dramatic. If this were a Grand Prix, we would have memorized this by now.
That's exactly right. And it was written by a woman from the Faroe Islands with a Ukrainian and another Swedish composer. So it's a Scandinavian take on.
Here we go. Oh no. I don't, it like, estas tone? I mean, look, I'm not familiar. Obviously the skating fan types are gonna be like, oh yes, it's on my iPad. Okay. You know some of our viewers. It's like
casual listening from the Faroe Islands.
I have to tell you, it reminded me of when I was on the yoga retreat and we were drinking cacao and we were meditating and we were like talking about how we all come from the mother. Like we were meditating in the morning in Hawaii. It brought me right back there. Okay, this had a real yoga retreat vibe. Okay, and it's talking about the same thing. It is our responsibility to dance, to embody the essence of our true humidity. In our souls, we are all dancers, healers, singers, and creators. We all have something powerful to say, to give. When we are in tune with the rhythms of the earth, with our inner rhythm, we know how to walk on the edge of time and worlds. Earth, mother, the deep support underneath our own feet. Women, the mystical, a woman. I love when it's woman and not women. Woman, the mystical force from which we all come. Earth, who nourishes us, who hosts us unconditionally. Woman, the life giver, the peacemaker, and the portal to the other side.
You know what? That's a lot of pressure to skate to. How are you supposed to embody all things?
Well, I remember I interviewed Marie France once and she was supposed to go on a yoga retreat after Worlds and then she didn't get to go. Maybe she went, okay? Or maybe she in her own mind.
Maybe this is her yoga retreat. Yeah,
yes, amazing. Okay. That is some hippy dippy shit, okay? Like,
and I go for that kind of stuff sometimes.
In the moment when I'm there in Hawaii on my mat, yes, I can go. Like,
yeah. But like you were saying at Nationals, there is that one moment where like you kind of want to turn to the person next to you and be like, is this for real? What's happening right now? I mean, it's interesting because the free dance and the rhythm dance.
And I really don't understand their costumes. Why aren't they just in like Lululemon? Like, and crop tops? I mean, why aren't they looking like white yogis?
Legit yogis. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the concept was, I think, greater than the execution in both the Bonnie and Clyde and in the Roots program. I appreciate that they tried something. The opening lift was very interesting, but from there, I needed it to be a little more innovative and earthy feeling. Because they were going to try to pull it off.
And her positions are very beautiful. I was noticing.
More beautiful than earthy, maybe. Like I thought things like those strong tangos and flamencos where she gets to hit a beautiful position and he gets to be powerful and strong were more true to what they can sell, I think. And he does that cool thing where he like lifts her back with his shoulder. They do it in both the rhythm dance and the free dance also. They have interesting qualities and I appreciate them for trying. I just don't know for the Olympic season if that's the way.
Now, Gilles and Poirier, their costumes, I like the red for both sides now. And it brings me back to the era of like Brian Picard and Michael Siebert and like that early 80s vibe, only look at the clip. I would love to wear this.
One pause. Say her name again.
Whose?
Piper's. What's her last name?
Piper Gilles.
Correct. Not Gillies, because that's all Ted Barton was saying. He kept being like, Miss Gillies, Piper Gillies. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of your own. Can we please pronounce it Piper Gillis?
She's from Colorado.
Oh, but I mean, come on, she's competing for Canada. Get her name right.
She's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Also, we were supposed to see, I don't know, why wouldn't we see Caroline and Shane here? I know that they showed I know that I saw their program on Instagram. I forgot to look it up before we got on here. Why didn't we see them? Remember we said on a show, I said, I think they should go train with Piper and Paul's coach because, you know, they're kind of smaller. They're a less traditional looking team. There's so many teams in Montreal. Maybe they need, you know, they're so creative at Caroline's camp. And then they did go there.
Oh, hope it works out. But by them not being here, it was that big moment then.
Do they skate by the diorama every day? Do you think they dress up the diorama for Christmas? Like, what's going on there? Did they change it?
Well, they had then just like an empty card table just sitting there, like an altar. Like a
Christmas theme? Do you think that we could make it like summer?
Older beers.
I don't know. I learned to skate at Fritz Dietl, and Fritz Dietl has this this mural on the wall that hasn't changed since, I don't know, 1965. It's just classic. Okay, it's
Are you watching the Fran Lebowitz stuff on Netflix?
Oh, do I need to?
Oh my gosh, Dave.
And I would like
taping right now. No, not Annie Leibovitz. It sounds very similar. Fran Lebowitz. So she's like a humorist author. Oh, the minute we shut this, you're gonna go watch it. Wait, it's Martin Scorsese doing stuff with her.
Oh, okay, I will watch. I'm also supposed to watch. This thing because, you know, I loved Crazy Rich Asians and I watched House of Hose. I'm supposed to watch like Bling Dynasty or something.
Okay, this is very different than that, and I suggest you start with the Fran Lebowitz. It's called Pretend It's a City. That's what she always says to tourists when they get in her way.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, it's going to deliver. And
well,
she,
you know, I love a funny Jewess. I love a funny Jewess like Joan Rivers.
Then have I got a show for you? Yeah.
Okay. Real queen. Okay.
Yeah. So, exactly.
It's almost, yes. I don't know. I also enjoy, you know, I enjoy Canadians. I think, you know, it's love hate, you know, but I enjoy.
Yeah. You know what it is about Piper and Paul? They're doing always some strange stuff, but they believe it 100%.
She's pointing her toe more. Have you noticed that?
And when you look at the rhythm dance in particular, the Mac and Mabel, the sophistication of the smaller moves and holds and things like that are very sophisticated.
I
think, here, wait, I wrote.
Yes, is it schmaltzy? Yes, but I like it. I don't know.
Yeah, here, wait, let me see. Yeah, it is schmaltzy.
It brings me back when I saw that movie, Life as a House, with
yeah, he builds up with his dad or something.
You know, they repair the relationship with his dad as they rebuild the house. It's a metaphor.
Get it?
Life as a house. Anyway, it was
okay, so the thing in the rhythm dance, so they scored Piper and Paul higher than either American dance team in the free dance, but they scored them lower in the rhythm dance, which I found just interesting. Not that goes too far, but the rhythm dance in particular,
they're all within each other, right? Like they're close, these teams.
Yeah. I don't know if international judges see that the same.
A long-time person sent me a tweet over the weekend. He goes, "Hi, I'm a longtime viewer. What do you think Piper and Zach's relationship is like now? I saw that they used to skate together." And I was like, I don't want to ignore it because I feel like that's maybe rude, but they used to date. How do I answer that question? Like many years ago, I'm like, you know, I think they live in different countries, but I'm sure they're colleagues and competitors and they've known each other.
Well, they technically live in the same country.
Well, that's sometimes true. Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. You're not helping.
But in different parts.
I was like, I don't know. You know, like.
Yeah, that's a question for them.
I just know that there was one year that they were going to be at nationals, and like I think maybe the relationship was not working out. The scuttlebutt was that they weren't getting along. So at that point, at one point in time, you know.
I think they both found the partner they wanted to be with.
Yeah, I think so. That's so nice of you to put it that way, Jonathan. Yes.
Her rotational lift at the end of the Mac and Maple, when he's just holding her and her arms are going free, is sensational. And they turn around in the free dance and do another sensational rotational lift. I love them in a rotational lift. What can I say? And their fin step, I think, has like this kind of bubbly joy to it that we don't necessarily see from the other teams. I really like it.
You know what I enjoy about their rhythm dances? That it reminds me of those old films where you go to an inn that's only open on holidays, you know, and you see them.
White Christmas, yeah. Yeah, but it's finally something joyous. There's a peppy, effervescent joy to it that we don't often get.
And it's not in this shirt, you know, and that's what I appreciate about it.
There it is.
How about the ladies? So at the lady event, and by the way, we discussed the pairs last week, so we are just going in on this.
But just to clarify, did this all kind of come out at the same time? Because all those pairs videos were released, but I didn't see any of the ladies, men's, or dance videos until this week.
They decided to have the pairs last week, and the senior I don't know why Canada did the way they did. I don't know why they didn't do junior last week and then senior this week.
Yeah.
They mixed it up. I don't know. Why don't they pick a language? They pick a weekend, pick a language. Like, I don't know. And how come all the really good articles about like why Julien and Charlie split, those are always in French, okay?
I know. The tawdry ones you gotta translate. Yeah.
I know. Ugh. But I know when I pick Spanish, what I'd be missing out on. Okay.
That's right. That's right. You only get the Spanish ice dance gossip that way.
Only, okay. All right. So Madeline Shizas, I don't know how to say her last name.
They pronounce it Schizas, it sounds like, but I don't think we can trust anything Ted says, because there was also a reference to Kolyada, and he called him like pina colada or something. I don't know what he was saying.
It's Ted. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
for some reason, he bothered me less here when he was at his little desk and not trying to promote a Terry. And like, I didn't have that like cognitive dissonance where I wanted to hit him. Did anyone else find that here?
This is growth, Dave. This is growth.
When he's not saying things about the Russians that are like so over the top and not so true. He wasn't like talking about how like a Terry is making the world a better place. I found him more tolerable here. Did anyone else find this experience?
Yeah. A propaganda-free Ted is the best Ted. Yeah.
Was this just my experience, or was this like everyone's? I don't know. It was, to me, he was just kind of like your silly uncle here, who's a little corny. I'll have one of those. Yeah. I don't know. It was just like, he was like an uncle here, you know, there's.
Well, what do you think about Madeline? You mentioned, you think she's going to the Olympics?
Well, they have, unless she's going to push Gabby Daleman to get it together. Okay. I think that Madeline needs some consistency and some skating skills and presentation. And not like, I think she needs more speed is what I'm saying, and more glide, but it's not like horrible. It's just like they need to bring more out of her. But
there's a quick rotational quality to her. Like that's very impressive for sure.
But oh my God, it was the biggest TED interview of all time. So during one of the events, he was interviewing her. It was so funny. I was laughing so hard. He was like, oh, what are your strongest? And then he goes, what's your weakness? I mean, no, I think that's too strong of a word. What do you want to improve? That's what a weakness is. Like,
yeah, amazing.
He like felt guilty for saying it. I was confused by that. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Jonathan, what is your weakness? I mean, Jonathan, what area do you want to? Oh, that sounds harsh. Jonathan, what area would you like to work on to become even better at?
Wheels turning. Yeah. And what did she say? I didn't watch the interview.
I think she said presentation, skating skill. I think she said the components is what I think she maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
So she's smart. She's with it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Allison Schumacher has this beautiful dress for the free. It has like red.
And some lovely qualities.
But her presentation, and she has lovely extension, lovely line, lovely skating skills. She needs to work on her being more expressive, I think, with her.
She doesn't seem in the moment with it. Like she's doing the nice things, but sometimes it lacks a little bit of energy to me. So it doesn't pull me in. She doesn't seem to have that presence. Just standing there, you know?
She could take a little bit of Gabby Daleman's presence, just a little bit of it. Maybe it will help Gabby to like dial it back a little bit. And she could give some to Allison. You know, we can.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, this is interesting.
You ever played like one of those computer games where you only get like so much energy if you're playing like, and like you have to like take some energy from one to give it to another? Like we could do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, it's just fascinating as I watched Gabby off of watching someone like Gracie at US Nationals. And I think totally different stories, but perhaps something that's playing out is similar feeling to me. And the difference being Gabby still wound up being in the top 3 here versus Gracie's 13th place or whatever that was, you know? So I
mean, depth was not the same, Jonathan. The depth was not the same.
100%, but I mean that kind of performance in Canada is still going to put you instead for the running. And I just don't understand where that disconnect is for Gabby.
Now, Kaya Reuter, I thought that she improved a lot from last year. Last year, she was the Canadian Alyssa Liu that they were all buzzing about. I did see improvement here. Her jumps are bigger and they looked more rotated. She does rotate a lot with her upper body. It's like, she uses upper body and legs, but it's an interesting technique. It's
Did they say her coach was Scott Davis, as in Galina Scott Davis?
Yes, I mean, he was with Galina for a couple of years, but yes, he was with Casey. I mean, I think
she does like create like a big picture when she starts, but the same kind of broad feeling she gives in certain opening moves. It seems to be a technique that I wonder how long it sustains.
Yeah, there is a great Scott Davis clip with Galina from the '97 NHK. I'll link it in the box.
The birthday one?
Yes, the birthday one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a great clip.
Oh my God. She called me today and then she was like, put on FaceTime. She was showing me what her dog was doing. You know.
Oh. This friendship is unexpected and I'm loving every minute of it.
Galina and her dog, yes. I mean, who knew she was such a dog?
No, you and Galina. Like, did you imagine this time last year you were going to be FaceTiming with Galina Zmievskaya and her dog?
No, but it just, it's just a trip. Okay, like.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
You don't understand.
Okay. It is much. Okay. Fair enough.
And Michelle Long, now she was the biter, right? Whenever we would see Kat do the solo scenes in
the Netflix original film or
I think
series,
we should skate to that. I mean, she was skating to
remind us.
Oh my God, she had some really rough falls in the free. It was a tough free skate.
Oh, I was going to say she had some really upsetting music. That Omeo Babino by like some pop star from Norway or something in the short program was enough to just make my skin crawl. That was unfortunate, but.
Well, the ladies event, you know, it's better if we don't talk about the free because she had quite a few mistakes and moved up with that performance. So I don't know, unless I was, yes, but you know, she did her best, as Ted would say. These skaters, they are putting it out there in front of us. We are here and are better off because of it, right?
I mean, if you're Skate Canada Day, so are you going to try to help cultivate Allison and Madeline for the upcoming season? Yes. And how are you going to do that for Allison and Madeline respectively? What do you think?
Madeline, I'm going to send to the World Championships. Allison, I'm going to send to a mime coach who's going to teach her just to act with her face.
Yeah, like even an acting coach, but a mime coach would be even more specific.
Listen,
Yeah.
Toronto's not that far from Quebec. They have all those French Canadian clowns that are out of work with Cirque du Soleil right now. They could all help Allison bring out her inner performer.
Her facial engagement. Yeah.
It's the only thing Allison needs because she has everything else. We need this fun. And then, you know, Gabby, I think she needs another queen for her short program. I don't like the hot pink. I don't like the two pieces, and I don't like this music. I think she needs Mariah Carey, short program, Celine Dion free. What do you think?
Do you think the music is the issue? Is that what's holding Gabby back at the moment?
I would like to see Gabby Daleman do the Honey video for the short program. I think that's what I'm looking for next year. I think Gabby's an old school queen and she could bring out some Mariah energy.
Okay.
Or maybe she could Christmas is You and make us feel like it's Christmas all the time. Like
all year long. All
Christmas
year
in
long.
July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even like we were talking about with Gracie, this is the inherent jumping talent of this group. It's just,
but it looks more wild than usual on Instagram when we've seen her. It looks less controlled. So
and very rappy, the leg.
That's always happened.
Yeah.
She's a Lee Barkel. But yes, I think
and they just throw Lori Nichols' name up there next to her all the time. And I wonder how Lori feels about that.
Well, Lori does choreograph for Gabby. Like,
you know,
she pays her. You pay to get that name attached. Hey, good enough.
Yeah, yeah. How do you think Madeline will do with the Worlds if, let's say, we have one?
Jonathan, I think that she will do what her talent allows her to do, if it has happened.
Yeah, because I feel like I've not seen her ever in an international front. I only see her
Madeline. Well, how would Ted word it? She will experience a growth opportunity at the World Figure Skating Championships. I think she will make her and her family proud. Okay.
She will bring honor to her country just by merely participating.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious. So what would they need in order to get to?
She's Canadian, Jonathan. She will bring joy to Canada with her talent and her positive outlook and skating skills.
There you go. There you go.
Which she learned in the Can Skate program, right?
Cue footage, and now it's a reel of just nonstop Liz Manley, Barbara Ann Scott, and Caitlin Austin.
I'm gonna miss Canadian Nationals so much. You know I love it every year.
I know. I won't miss that guy, Rod Black, or whatever his name is, but we will.
Jonathan Meyer, how are you not gonna miss Rod Black, my favorite commentator every year?
Senior citizen Deanna Stellato, and it's like, someone fire this man.
I enjoy his energy and his enthusiasm for pronouncing multiple syllables in a cadence like this.
Oh, but speaking of which, because as obsessed as he was about Deanna, he was also obsessed, like, in calling Stephen Gogolev a fetus. You know what I mean? He was so excited.
Injury, maybe he was surfing. What is happening?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, if we've heard anything. It's been almost entirely silent this whole time.
I don't know.
Yeah, could throw a wrench in that whole mix should he re-emerge next season.
I'm sure Raphael will love it. Raphael's been very quiet lately, so we didn't see enough of him at Nationals either.
Agreed.
I didn't feel his machismo, like driving up on the motorcycle to the event. Maybe he rode like from LA to Vegas on his motorcycle. I don't know. Where was Raph? So
amazing. Yeah.
Hold an edge and look sexy. Bye.